Harihi Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande परमानंद माधवम। ओम। शिष्य आत्म समर्पण। कार्पण्य दोषो उपहत स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढचेता यश्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्। Om. Welcome to the class of Bhagavad Gita this week. We are in the second chapter, Shloka number 33 of Bhagavad Gita. The Shloka goes like this. Atha chetvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tatha swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papamavapsyasi. We had completed the Atma-based Vikalpa, the Anatma-based Vikalpa, and we started the Dharma-Adharma Vivekaha, Dharma-based Vikalpa. These are the only three possibilities that we encounter when we resist doing something. There is always an opportunity for us to do something. But when we stop doing it, or when we deny the opportunity to do something, typically one of these three could be the cause, which is it could be based on dharma, adharma, it could be based on atma, or it could be based on anatma. Right? And I'm talking about when you're resisting, not out of typically a boredom or trying to procrastinate. It is more along the lines of not wanting to do something because of some issues, because of a reason. We have looked at two of them, and we started with the third one. In this shloka, Bhagavan continues. Atha is, however, chet, in case, if in case kind of a stuff. Tvam, you, imam, this, dharmyam. Dharmyam is the righteous duty of upholding the dharma of a kshatriya. To a kshatriya, that is the dharma. So he is calling fighting the war in that particular situation as the dharma. Sangramam, war, or coming together for a battle. So which kind of dharmyam? Sangramam dharmyam. Na karishyasi. I will not perform. I will not engage in. Tathaha, then swadharmam, your personal righteous duty. Kirti, the reputation that one has, the fame that one has generated, right? As you know, among the Pancha Pandavas, though he was third, he had the highest visibility, or he had highest recognition. In fact, Bhagavan will say, among the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Then we are talking about the Vibhuti Yoga in the 10th chapter. Right. So kirti is something that is very, very important to a kshatriya. Then you are failing both in your swadharma and kirti is the way that it goes. And the word that he used is hitva. Hitva is to kill, basically cause a harm. In other words, you are failing, not just failing, you are killing yourself from refusing to do your swadharmam. And also, just destroying your kirti. Not only that, papam avapsyasi. And because he is failing to do his duty, what he is going to gain is papam, sins. Going into analysis, here Bhagavan has declared the downside of not fighting the war. There are traditions that see this as a warning given by Bhagavan to Arjuna if he doesn't fight. Our way of looking at these shlokas is Krishna's teaching is seen as a master class of compassionate persuasion, which has got a blend of reasoning, an expression of empathy, and a progressive motivation. So he puts all of them together when he is communicating. He knows he is talking to a Kshatriya who is in tears and not wanting to fight the war. And the right approach for promoting one to go towards their dharma is creating a reason-based analysis, showing an empathy that I understand where you are coming from. I join the pain that you are suffering, right? That empathy should be persuasive in nature. And then the attempt must be progressive. It is not like, hey, ye sab chodo, jaake karo. That should not be the case. That is neither empathy nor a progressive motivation. Here, he is using a very progressive motivation. That is how we see it. In our tradition, we do not see it as a threat given by Bhagavan to Arjuna. Rather, it is seen as a persuasion that Bhagavan is doing. So, in 2.31, even from your standpoint, you have a duty. He connects with Arjuna, right? The world's view. There is no rejection that he has placed. In 2.32, you are fortunate to have this chance, right? So it is not that every Kshatriya is blessed with this opportunity. We saw the example of so many, Bhishma, Drona, right? So the whole point was, even if in case you had the intent to fight for dharma, you are sometimes duty bound to fight against the dharma itself, against those who are fighting for dharma. So for you to get an opportunity is rare. So that is again a persuasion. Then the consequence, if you avoid it, you lose both dharma and fame. This is a logical consequence, not an emotional threat. That is the way that we in our tradition see it. Or 34 to 36, how you will feel when people question your courage. There will be emotional realism to make Arjuna see the cost of inaction. That is what we will see from 34 to 36. And in 37, he will conclude it with the, logical analysis. Either it brings you good, which is heaven, or victory, which is going to give you the Rajyam. So there he ends with the hope and a clarity. So this is considered to be a classic transformative communication. Okay, so this is a skill that we should try to imbibe ourselves into. And it is not through, some specific exercise that we are going to be talking about today, but there are other places where we can talk about it, right? Where we can have specific classes. Here, it is direct application of how Bhagavan has approached to communicate to Arjuna. Krishna has never demeaned, which is kind of argument, people can put an argument to it, but it is again to be seen. Kshudram hridaya daurbhalyam tyaktotiftha parantapa. And all these things, klaibhyam mas magam of partha, all these could be seen as, demeaning. But that was spoken as a friend. As soon as he took the position of a guru, he has never used a single demeaning word. he aligns. He is not shaming him. He is reminding. So these are all the positive aspects of good communication. Consequences in traditional term. We, in our tradition, speak of ihaloka palam and paraloka palam. After death, there is always a birth. We have discussed about it when we did the Atma Anatma Viveka. We logically and also scripturally saw why we say that there is a rebirth or there is a paralokam. Right? When we talk of rebirth, we are not talking about being reborn in this world. You could go to Pitriloka, you could go to Swargaloka, you could go to Brahmaloka, or you could be going to any of those Adama Lokas. Right? So the Ihalokam means in this world, right now when you are living, the Paralokam is after the death. The other lokas is the way that it comes. We identify it as Ihaloka Phalam and Paraloka Phalam. In modern communication terms, Krishna's approach embodies what leadership coaches today call it as ethical persuasion through awareness. Again, a very important word for you. Ethical persuasion, that is also very important, through awareness. Bringing that knowledge is a very important aspect of doing it. It is not like, I am telling, so you do it. Bringing the awareness of the value of what the person is about to do. Now, he has used 3 principles, if in case we go into the modern communication exercises, etc. Affirm before correcting. So he is acknowledging Arjuna's position before guiding him. Then consequence framing. He doesn't command, he lays out the consequences logically. Empowerment through clarity. He shifts focus from guilt to opportunity. This is your rare moment to rise. Krishna's approach in modern language is Arjuna, the situation, though painful, is your dharmic test and your greatest opportunity. If you avoid it, you will lose inner alignment and peace, not just outer feeling. If you face it, you fulfill your purpose and restore balance, regardless of the outcome. So look at the way that he has approached it. Now we will talk about this aspect of what I say, Swadharmam, Kirti, Hitva. This is in this loka. Papam avapsyasi is a lead towards the paraloka phalam. But we will talk about it more. In Bhashyam, Shankaracharya puts it as atachet. But if you do not perform this righteous dharma, imam dharmyam sangramam, which is not opposed to dharma, right? So here Acharya says dharmat anapetam. Then because of that, you will lose your own duty and your fame. That is the result of association with great beings. Mahadeva Adi Samagama Nimittam. Right, so he is putting both the Ihaloka Phalam and the Paraloka Phalam into this. By giving up such a sacred responsibility, you will only gain sin, papam avapsyasi. Kevalam papam avapsyasi is the way that he puts an emphasis there. You won't earn honor or rest. Only fault and suffering will come to you if in case you run away. Now, Acharya introduces the 34th shloka, na kevalam swadharmam kirti parityagaha. Right? By giving up such sacred responsibility, not only will it be an abandonment of your duty and fame, and is the way that he introduces or he puts the link to the next shloka. Going to the next shloka, shloka number 34. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtihi maranad atirichyate. So here he is now giving the taste of what is going to happen. Akirtim, the akirti, the ill fame that you would have gained by running away. Cha api bhutani. Generally, all those who are here, as well as others as well. Katayishyanti. They will speak. Te avyayam means degrading you, about you, in a very disrespectful manner. Sambhavitasya. Sambhavita means, that is a sambhavana that is being given. After a priest performs a puja, there is a sambhavana. Right? So that sambhavana is the thing that is given as an honor. Right? Honored respect makes it respectable person, basically. Cha akirtihi. In addition to it, he will also get ill fame, which is maranat. When compared to death, atirichyate is even more, is worse than death. And this is particularly applicable for the Kshatriyas. They put the value so much into them that if something bad happens to their fame, they will feel ridiculed into their own self. If somebody comes up with an adharma, they will be more than happy to go and fight. They won't have any fear. But if it comes into them in their own kirti, they will find themselves to be ridiculed in their own eyes. So he is pointing it out to Arjuna, saying that, hey, when this happens, it is going to be such for you. The emphasis here is on the ihaloka phalam. What would be the consequences if Swadharma is not performed? The first is akirti. Now, why do people seek kirti? Because it provides a validation of existence, fame, praise, recognition. They conform to the ego. I matter, I am seen, my life has a significance. This is what is going to be the emphasis, and it is very important for those who are in a rajasic swabhav. Right? So be it a Vaishya or be it a Kshatriya, they both will be very much attracted towards such fame. Now, kirti is a mirror that reflects one's worth through others' eyes. A Kshatriya has his life committed not to self but to others. This is the difference between a Vaishya and a Kshatriya. While Vaishya, he is more interested in what I get, though he is also equally towards the fame. A Kshatriya is more towards others. It will be something that they give for others, and in that they will have the joy. Kirti is an affirmation of one's Kshatriyatva. Hence, they hold a very huge, very high value in the heart of Kshatriyas. From Shastra point of view, from Veda point of view, the praman for this assertion is Rig Veda, right? Which says, Agnir naha kirtihi shubhaga upasyat. May Agni, our fame, most auspicious, be with us. The Agni here is the kirti, because fire carries the oblations that we make to the respective gods, basically connects the human action to the divinity. This aspect is called Agni. In Shatapatha Brahmana also, right? Satyena lokam jayati kirtya devan. By truth, one conquers the world. By fame, one attains the gods, is the way that Shatapatha Brahmana also speaks. So these are all various places where the importance of Kirti has been emphasized. Bhagavan has used two aspects. Akirti, which is loss of Kirti, which brings down the human values considerably. Kataishyanti te, they will speak ill of you. Avyayam means with no end. Such talks will continue with no change. What we are speaking of Arjuna today, we might have been speaking totally the opposite. The most bad things about Arjuna. That is what we may be speaking. So, for example, Naresh makes a mistake. How long will anyone speak of it? It will be for a very little time. If Nehru makes a mistake, it is historical. It is being spoken to date. Avyayam indicates discontinuity. Forever Arjuna will be seen with this Akirti. A nice way to look at it. Right. So the higher your fame is, the Akirti will last that long. That is another value that we have to put ourselves into, we have to keep in our mind. And because it was Arjuna, Bhagavan is using Avyayam, means it will not have any value diminution of devaluation. It will continue forever, is the way that Bhagavan has put it. In Bhashyam, Acharya says, not only that all beings will talk about your dishonor, that bad fame will last for a very long time. You were previously respected for qualities like Dharmatma, Shuraha, right, etc. That is the way that people have been looking at Arjuna. These are all the kind of gun that Arjuna is known for. But now for a person who has once received such an honor, once who has earned that, what do you say, greatness, it is worse than death when he faces an Akirti. So, for a respected man, it is better to die than to live without the honor. In dishonor, there is no point in living. So that is what in Bhashyam, it is a direct kind of a translation of this shloka. Moving on to the 35th shloka. The shloka goes like this. Bhayadranaduparatam mamsyante tvam maharathaha yesham chatvam vahumato bhutva yasyasi laghavam. Bhayat is out of fear, bhayam, a very common word to date. Ranat, they are in the battlefield. That Ranat, from the battlefield. Ran is the battlefield. Ranat makes it from the battlefield. Uparatam, given up or ran away. Right, so Ranchodas, they talk about, right? That is the Uparatam. Basically, being driven away or running away, kind of a son. And what will they do? Mansyante, Tvam, Maharataha. They will think so about you. Who will think so about you? The Maharathaha, the great warriors who are in the front right now in the Kaurava army. Yesham Chatvam, Yesham, for whom Tvam, Bahumato Bhutva. So, Bahumat is a common word that we use, a majority in the parliament, etc. Or what is it, when you win a lot more of vote, what is a vote? Right, so Bahumat is the majority, Bhutva having become. Yasyasi, you will go or you will become Laghavam, decreased in value. So he had the Bahumat, So whenever we are talking about another individual, there could be some strength as well as weaknesses. There could be some positive as well as negative aspects. Here, the Bahumat represents the positivity and Laghavam is the negativity. So for those in whose heart you held high values, you will lose in their heart itself, is the contextual meaning when we look at it from a direct translation of the shloka. When we analyze it, Arjuna's decision to quit was based on karuna. Karpanya dosho upahata swabhavaha. It is out of that karuna that he was thinking. Even in his statement to Lord Krishna, he was telling, I don't want to kill them. It is a war. You can as well be killed like they can be killed too. But his confidence about the war has not diminished. It is only the Karuna Bhavam which is preventing him from fighting the war. But if he runs away, the Maharathas, let us say Karan, right? Karna, or let us say Duryodhan, or any of the brothers of Duryodhan, what will they say? Or what will they think? That Arjuna's decision was out of fear, bhaya. So we attribute Mamsyante to stating because Maharathas hold a position of power. One in the position of power has a natural ability to spread their thought and influence on others. They don't have to really speak about it. It need not be verbatim. If I hold the position in the company, and if I have a dislike towards something, that will get naturally propagated down in my team, even if I have not spoken. The body speaks much louder than your tongue. The only thing is, when it is your tongue, you know what you have spoken, but with your body, you do not know what you have spoken. Be it through your eyes, or be it through your movements, or be it through your reactions, you will always be communicating that. And those who are in power will spread this influence to others as well. So the lesson is, when you go or when you grow into the position of power, remember, even your thoughts and intentions get carried into the sphere of your influence. Action leading to attitude and attitude leading to action should be kept in mind. Only when your thoughts are strong, you grow into a leadership position. And when you grow into a leadership position, strengthen your thoughts for otherwise, the weak thoughts will spread and weaken the same position that you gained, let alone the team under you being weakened. So you must become more alert and committed to the positivity being spread through you. Specifics that Bhagavan has quoted: among the same Maharatha in whom you hold a position of respect. This indicates not only those on his side in the war, but also several who are on the other side. Then you will attain yasyasi, a position of shame, laghavam. Arjuna, those very people who once held a very high esteem about you, Bahumato Bhutva, will now see you fallen into disgrace, into dishonor, is the way that Bhagavan speaks to Arjuna. In the Bhashyam, Shankaracharya uses Karnadibihi. They both have a very personal enmity, to the point where when Kunti approaches Karna to not kill the Pandavas, he says, I will not kill anyone else, but it will be either me or Arjuna who will live. You will still have your Pancha Pandavas, but it will be either Karna or Arjuna. is the way that he puts. So that is the extent to which they have their enmity. Right? They will think that you withdrew from the battle out of fear and not because of compassion. They will think that even though you are a great warrior, especially Duryodhana and others, for whom you were highly respected, you are endowed with strength and noble qualities. Thus, even after having earned such high honor, you will fall into low, uh, into the shameful areas. You will be thought of very lightly, as though you are not a strong person at all. You will be seen with contempt. Here, Krishna is using a very powerful argument. Honor once earned can be lost, and the dishonor is worse for a warrior class. But the most important thing is an honor once lost will earn you dishonor. But the dishonor, for it to be gone, it will take much more effort than what it took for you to gain that honor in the first place. This is something that we should keep in mind. When you attain that particular honor, it is your responsibility to keep it up. If you fall, if you fail, then this is done. Going into the 36th shloka. Avachya vadamscha bahun vadishyanti tavahitaha nindantastava samarthyam tatho dukkhatarannu kim. So here the Bhagavan is again pushing Arjuna from the point of view of how it will be in the future if he runs away. Avachya vadamscha bahun. Vacham is words, expression, to speak. Avachyam is something that cannot be spoken. The beeping sound of TV is something that you can think of. Vadan, the words. Cha is joining the two. Bahun, many is the context. Vadishyanti will say, tava ahitaha. Tavahitaha will become tava, your, ahitaha, that which is not going to bring hitam to you, that which is not going to bring welfare to you. Nindantastava, nindantaha, right, ninda karna, will speak ill of you, right, tava, your, samarthyam, your capabilities. Tato, dukkatharam nukim, what can be more painful than that? Is the way that Bhagavan is prompting Arjuna for his considerations. Again, the fruits of ignoring your duties while being in this world is continued here. Avachya vadam bahun, words that cannot be spoken of. Tava samarthyam nindantasva, tato dukkatharannukim. What could be more of that? All these are considered to be ihaloka phalam, for failing to perform your duty. Now, Acharya puts it as enemies, ahitaha, shatravaha, will speak many words that are unspeakable, insulting and shameful things about you. They will blame and mock, right? Kutsayantaha is the way that Acharya puts it. They will mock at him, right? What can he do, right? Even if in case they are supposed to meet and Arjuna is going to stand up, yeah, you will stand up here, but that day you just ran away from the battlefield. That is what is the Kutsayantaha. And they will mock your strength, even recalling your famous victories, right? And here Shankaracharya quotes from one of the Nivata Kavachas, right? So it is one of the great battles. I think I have written about it, or I have already spoken about it, right? So I'll check the next slide, and then if it is not written, we will speak about it. Therefore, when you are subject to such public slander, what sorrow could be greater, is the way that he is speaking. He also adds that it is not a question that Bhagavan is asking, it is more of an exclamation. They were very powerful asuras, and they lived in a city called as Hiranyapura, something that is made of gold, which is under the ocean. Now, it is, again, it is sometimes described as in the sky in some of the Puranic representations, but it is considered to be under the ocean as per Mahabharata. Nivata, right? Someone who, and Kavach is armor, right? That which is not destroyed in any form, that Kavacha, meaning they have never been penetrated, as in nobody has won. They are invincible. So during exile, Arjuna would have departed to Indraloka, and Indra would, before giving the weapons, will want to see what is the true capability of Arjuna, and he asks to fight. And he fights the Nivata Kavachas very gracefully, and he wins them. And then he earns the divine weapons from Indra. That is the way that particular story goes. And then Acharya introduces the 37th shloka here. Yuddhe punaha kriyamane karnadibihi. That is wrong. Na. Right. Now, again, during the battle, this will be done by Karna and others, enemies mocking Arjuna. Right. So they will continue to mock, is the way that this particular thing is concluded. Moving into the 37th shloka. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshyase mahim tasmaduttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchayah. Here, he is bringing Arjuna back into the possibility realm. Hato va, being killed. Va is either or, the or kind of a options. Prapsyasi swargam. If you are killed, what you will get? You will attain the heavenly abode. Those Kshatriyas who are fighting the Dharma Yuddha are guaranteed a heavenly abode. And if in case you win, Jitvava, Bhokshyase Mahim, you will enjoy or experience this particular world. Tasmad, therefore, Uttishta, get up, Kaunteya, hey, son of Kunti, Arjuna, Yuddhaya Krita Nishchaya, with a total resolve, with an absolute determination, go and fight the war. That is the way the advice is done by Lord Krishna to Arjuna here. So this is considered to be the concluding shloka of the shloka, which he started in the shloka number 31. He just spoke of the two possibilities, jitvava or hatva, be it killed or be it, what is it, be you return victorious. Now, as he said, going back to look at the entire communication, look at the way that he is talking. The context here is different from the communication style that we are speaking about, though it also applies to some degree. Here, there is an instruction to go and fight. In 2.3, he said, Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyaktva Uttishta Parantapa. So, you let go of the weakness in your heart. So, reclaim your inner strength was the first one. In 2.18, again, Bhagavan says to go and fight. So, Anashino Prameyasya Tasmad Yudhyasva Bharata. Right? Intellectual knowledge of Atman. So, act with the right understanding is the second thing that he comes to. The third one is Tasmad Uttishta Kaunteya Yuddhaya Krita Nishchaya. Here, it is an advice which is integrated with the action, and not just action, how or with what attitude that action must be performed. Emotion, intellectual, and resolve. That is the process. That is what was used by Bhagavan. And this is equally applicable to any kind of communication that we do. Establish an emotional connect. You look at anybody, right? Even, Modi, or, Modi is one of the great orators that I have seen personally. Look at the process. It will always follow this. And bear this in mind. One is emotion. Second is intellect, right knowledge. The third one is resolve. Right? Put that particular order in your directions, then you will see the results really spike up. Bhagavan guides Arjuna through each layer, not by coercion, but by restoring a good balance in communication. Krita Nishchaya. It is not just determined to fight, but acting with clarity and a composure. Not being impulsive in what we are trying to do. Not being driven by your own confusion. For example, right, you are going to fight with somebody, right, and as soon as you get into that, your hands are trembling. Not out of fear, but it is because of that uncertainty. If you have that krita nishchaya, that will not happen. You will have an absolute power in what you are doing. You will be behind your actions. This is another important value. The term krita nishchaya is an important message for all of us, that when you are putting yourself into an action, have that resolve in you. Otherwise, you will have the disturbances of being impulsive and confusion driven, which will weaken your actions. If you want strength in your action, you must overcome that impulsive nature, or that, what is a wavering thing. We will talk about it in Karma Yoga, not too far. Just in about maybe 8 shlokas or so, we will definitely be, maybe much earlier, right? 5 or 6 shlokas, we will be able to look into that from the Karma Yoga point of view. So, quick recap, 31 to 37, from warning to wisdom. In 233 may sound like a warning in isolation, right? 31 to 32 shows what is right. 33 to 36 shows what happens when you ignore what is right. 37 is conclude with freedom from fear. This is the way that we look at the entire stretch of Dharma Adharma Vivekam, which he has used as one of the Vikalpa. It is very holistic. He appeals to Dharma, Karuna, then Shaurya. These three are the things that he is directly looking and trying his best to help Arjuna overcome his confusions. Now, after bringing Arjuna to the state of clarity, Krishna does something very, very important. He does not end the teaching with, now go and fight. He immediately begins explaining Karma Yoga. From 238 to 253, and in 239, actually, he himself will say. Right? So now he is going to introduce Karma Yoga in the coming shlokas. The philosophy of how to act without bondage is what is Karma Yoga. Resolve without the right understanding of action and non-attachment can still lead to ego, pride, sorrow, which is leading to the samsara. So instead of stopping at this point to say that, hey, go and fight, he jumps into how you must fight. And this is because he has used the term Krita Nishchaya. What is that Krita Nishchaya? How is it that we can look at it from the Krita Nishchaya point of view? Right? Vyavasayatmika buddhihi. Right? Ekeha Kurunandana is the way that one of the shlokas we will be seeing soon will be spoken. So that aspect is very, very important. And hence, Bhagavan does not stop, but he continues, which helps us to gain this wisdom through Lord Krishna and Sri Vedavyasa. In Bhashyam, it is very simple way that the Acharya has put it. If you are killed, you will attain heaven. If you win, that is by defeating heroes like Karna and others, you will enjoy ruling the earth. Thus, whether you die or win, it is a gain for you. Tava labhaha eva is what the important thing is. All our explanations prior to are based on this single statement. In fact, Bhashyam, the people who have written, there are Bhashyam to Bhashyam that has been written, because the simple way that Acharya has put it has exploded into analysis. And there is a lot more that is revealed through those further bhashyams or tika, tipnis, and etc. There is a big amount of analysis that has been done based on Shankara's bhashyam. Since this is so, O Arjuna, rise up and Yuddhaya Krita Nishchaya. Krita Nishchaya. Here, Acharya puts it as Nishchayam Kritva, as in, I will conquer the enemies, Jeshyami Shatrun, or I will die, Marishyami Va. This is the meaning of Nishchayam Kritva. That is the way Shankaracharya puts it. Again, both of these words are very deeply analyzed. He introduces the 38th shloka at this point. Tatra, in this situation, or as in this book, as in this battle, considering the battle as one's own duty, Swadharma iti evam yuddham. For the one who is fighting, in this spirit, listen carefully to the teaching. The imam upadesham is the way that he says the coming upadesh is going to be very important. So put your fullest attention as you get into the 38th shloka. A very important shloka, and we will get into it probably in our next class, because I think this is an important place to put a break, and 7:25 to 7:30 may not be sufficient time to give an introduction into this. So let us jump into Karma Yoga in our next class. And as I said, it will be in the next shloka that Bhagavan himself will say that he is introducing Karma Yoga. But for now, we will take a break. at this shloka. Prabhakar Bhaiya.
Oh, thank you, Guruji. Very highly relatable session this time, especially when it talks about Kshatriya and Vaishya. As a soldier, we easily connect to that pride of being a Kshatriya and dishonor being uh, the most scariest thing than anything else, than the monetary or other benefits. So this
Absolutely.
thing, I mean, very highly relatable and intense today. And the
Yep.
bad reputation that one can get when running away from a war is wonderfully explained. Then
So
that
very true.
communication for the leadership is very insightful. Say insightful is a very less word. Ethical, being purpose oriented, and clarity and composure, and the benefit, the prophecy swargam. Intense, very nice.
Thank
Emotion, intellect, and resolve have to go together while communicating. Beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
But having spoken about all these things, I think I should let Ravi Bhai also know that you have been part of one of the wars that we fought. And
Mhm.
thank you so very much for serving the nation, and that too during those crucial moments.
Happy to be part. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ravi Bhaiya?
I have no questions, Uncle. Thank you very much. And also to Bhayaji, thank you for your service.
Thank
Absolutely.
you, Ravi bhai. My duty.
Well, we will take leave here today and we will conclude with our Shanti Mantra. Hari Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.